Hello, BIOL1009. Welcome to week one. This is the first in a series of video lectures that I'll be posting on the course website to kind of help guide you through what is due that week and what we're going to be learning that week. This is the first week of the class, and so this video is going to be a little bit more extensive as I kind of give you some hints about what to do in this class, but generally these videos will be 3 to 5 minutes, and they kind of just go over what assignments and lab material is due, as well as give you kind of a general outline of what you should be focusing on for material. So before we get started on that, I want to emphasize that the key to this class is time management. You have a week to complete all of these assignments. Some of those assignments are going to be individual. Some of them are going to be group-based. It's up to you and your group members to sketch out a schedule so that you stay on top of what assignments are due and you're not rushing at the end of the week to complete all these assignments. And of course, the weeks run starting on a Wednesday and ending on a Tuesday at 11:55 p.m. So for individual things like lab activities or individual parts of a lab that you're responsible for in a broader group project, you want to make sure that you're coordinating your time and planning out ahead at the start of every week. That's why I post these videos at the start of the week, so you can kind of use them as a template to, or a springboard to get started on getting your week activities sort of scheduled out. This is what the videos look like. I generally list out the activities that are due that week here, kind of indicating key things up on the board. For instance, this first week, all of the assignments are due at the end of the second week. So that's not the case for the subsequent weeks, but because we have some turnover, people are joining the class, we give you a little bit more time to kind of orient yourself and get used to the structure of this online course and kind of figure out what time schedule works for you. So these assignments are all going to be due on June 30th. There are a few group activities that you need to get done by June 23rd, or sorry, not June 23rd, July 23rd. These include introducing yourself on Flipgrid and setting up a group sign-up sheet with your group, okay? You can find out who's in your group by going on Moodle. Up at the top, there's a user section under administration. Click on that and it will give you a list of groups. There should be a group subsection. You click on that and it will tell you who's in which group, okay? That's how you figure out who's in your group. If you have any questions, please email me. I'm happy to explain anything that you get stuck on with Moodle. That's one of the big hurdles, learning curves for this course. So don't hesitate to ask questions about how to use Moodle. In terms of week one, so once we do kind of that introductory group stuff, in terms of week one, in terms of content, what we're going to be doing is reading chapters 1 through 3. So this is the only week that we have 3 chapters to read, but they're relatively short and they're relatively straightforward. So we're going to be learning about, in chapter 1, a broad overview of what biology is, what is the definition of life, kind of how is the broader course structured in terms of which fields we'll be discussing, in terms of classification, diversity, and then we'll be jumping right into sort of the chemical basis of life. And we'll be starting off with chapter 2, which is a very basic chemistry of life, i.e. it's focused primarily on the simple molecules that and elements that define life, and that is water and carbon. And then we'll be jumping into chapter 3, which gets into a little more complicated series of molecules that are essential to life as we know it. And the key to reading and studying all this material is to use the week overview that's presented at the top of every week, and there's a subsection of things to focus on. Use that as kind of the basis of your notes, and then as you're reading the material and working through the Learn Smart activity and doing the homework, make sure you're referencing back to that subsection to kind of define the terms and concepts that are outlined there. Because if you can define those terms and concepts, you'll do very well on the exam, okay? So in terms of activities for the first week, we have a Learn Smart activity. That's the guided, interactive, online sort of, I hesitate to call it a quiz because it's more of a kind of guided learning activity that walks you through the e-textbook, okay? It asks you a series of questions as you kind of read through the e-textbook. Those questions are graded, but you can do it as many times as you want. And we ultimately convert those grades, which are based out of 100 points per chapter. We convert them overall into 2 points for that week. Then you have an online quiz. That is an individual quiz. You take that online. That's also worth 2 points. And then you have a group homework assignment. So that is your group's responsibility to complete. And typically how groups do it is they farm out the questions to individual group members. Group member A does questions 1 through 3. The next group member does 4 through 6, et cetera, et cetera. And they come together before it's due and check everyone's answer to make sure that everyone's satisfied with the answers that everyone submitted. And then one person submits that for the final grade, and that's also worth 2 points. So as a bit of advice, I recommend at the start of the week doing the reading, doing the Learn Smart activity, then doing working on the quiz with your group, and then taking the quiz, working on the homework with your group, and then taking the quiz as the last part of your weekly activities, okay? Because that gives you kind of some exposure to the reading and the Learn Smart and also the homework to give you kind of a better sense of the material before you take the quiz. Finally, there's a lab activity typically every week, and those can be either group-based or individual-based. For week 1, it is an individual sort of learning exercise to get you familiarized with doing scientific measurements. We'll be doing subsequently a lot of measurements in this course for other labs, and so we kind of just want to get you familiarized with doing labs at home and kind of measuring things and getting a sense of accuracy and how we should judge accuracy in scientific experiments. So with that said, I don't want to go much more than this. As I said, most videos are going to be 3 to 5 minutes. This one's a bit long. Yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, email me. Email the TA. We're here to help. And good luck.